Hello, my name is Eugenia Kennedy Smith, and today my presentation topic will be on the substance abuse program groups. Hello, my name is Eugenia Kennedy Smith, and this presentation is regarding substance abuse programs and groups in a women's prison. Hello, my name is Eugenia Kennedy Smith. Today's presentation is on group dynamics of a substance abuse program at California Institute for Women. This is an aerial view of California Institute for Women. It's in Corona, California, but the residents of Corona didn't want that associated, so it's Chino. But this is where the substance abuse program is, where many women go in groups of 6 to try to get clean, and they meet up for 16 weeks. This is an aerial view of California Institute for Women. According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, 3/4 of women in California prisons are there for drug offenses. Therefore, it's very important that this SAP program continues and help women gain control of their lives so they can have their children back. This is an aerial view of California Institute for Women. It was built in 1959 and was the first female prison in California. Then it was called Frontera. The SAP program is held here on these grounds. These women meet in groups of 6 or more, and the topics are all related to what circumstances led them to drug abuse. The issue that is discussed at length with reflection time. The women must face their past before moving on into their future. It is a general course of action, and with it being an all-female group, it decreases the level of anxiety and fear with these women. The substance abuse program is one of the most successful programs at the prison. Only the fire camps are a more successful group. The SAP is for young women who have a diagnosable addiction. They also must have children who were taken by the state and placed in foster care. I've noticed many instances of regret in this group, mostly for their inability to care for their children. For many of these women, motherhood is the only thing in their life that they can be proud of. They must live with the fact that they failed in that aspect and others are raising their children. But the children are the most important thing in their lives, and this is what gets them through the program. The women are eventually granted time to spend with their children. Motherhood is the most important thing to these women. However, they realize that society views them as bad mothers, even in the throes of their addiction. These women feel as if society has deemed them neglectful and selfish women, as stated by Baker in 1999. According to one researcher, 82% of women in prison have been subjected to abuse, physical and or sexual abuse. These women use drugs to hide that pain, to numb it, and to make it go away. But they go into deeper and deeper drugs when the previous drug did not work. They become addicted and they do anything to get their drug, even neglect themselves and their children. I observed in the group that addiction for these women all began between the ages of 9 and 16 years old. This is especially frightful since studies have shown that the brain's development stops with the use of drugs. This is why women act in ways that are less mature and have little critical thinking ability. These women were abused as children and with their poor judgment often seek out abusive partners as adults. The war on drugs has turned into a war on women. These women need help with their addiction. Unfortunately, not all receive help or even want help. Yet these women are victimized all over again by the judicial system. This chart is self explanatory. Child abuse, sexual, emotional, and physical abuse. This creates a low self esteem and lower self value. These women are often taken advantage of by family members, friends, and other men. Substance abuse is used to feel more normal. It blocks the damage and pain from a sexual assault as a child. This illustration is showing the effects of drugs on these women. These are relatively young women, not bad looking, but yet you can see in their secondary photo that their looks have completely changed because of the drug use. This is what I see in prisons. And the SAP program really helps get these women on track and get them clean and get them to understand why they use drugs in the first place. This slide illustrates the faces of addiction. These were attractive women, yet one can see the external damage done by drugs. The SAP program can help women who are substance abusers. These women have a caring environment, a cohort of people in the group that they trust and they understand and they accept with no judgment. As you can see, sexual abuse, sexual intercourse, and any sexual abuse greatly increases the fact or the chances that a woman will use drugs in her adulthood. Sexual abuse leads to substance abuse, and both abusers lead to depression and other psychiatric disorders. These women often do not get the treatment they need. Many more services are made available to men, as reported by Greenwald. These little broken girls grow up to be broken women. They do not have any coping skills, and in fact, many of them are emotionally and cognitively stunted because of drug use. These broken little girls who never had a normal childhood grow into women. They're physically women, but emotionally and cognitively, they are still those little girls on the inside. As adults, they seek out partners who are like her family. All she knows is abuse, so the abuse and the trauma continues along with drug use. I was able to interview two inmates. One is very cooperative with her program, and the other one is not programming so well. The one that is programming well is Fonseca, and she's thankful that she has this opportunity to get her life back together and have an opportunity to reunite with her children. My method for this topic of research consists of interviews with two inmates. I ask for consent from each of them for the interviews. The two inmates are aware that the information will be used for a research paper and a PowerPoint presentation. Ms. Fonseca started her drug use at the age of 9, and her drug of choice was heroin. I find it unbelievable that a child of 9 can become addicted to drugs. But then I heard that her mother was addicted and her father was addicted, so then I'm supposing that everyone in the house was using heroin, so it became natural for her to want to try it. I just shudder to think how her life could have been different had she been raised in a normal home. I received two very different interviews. From one inmate, Fonseca, I was told that the SAP program helps her cope with the struggles of addiction, of serving time, and how to become a more responsible adult. Fonseca looks forward to graduating from the program. She also wishes to continue with the group after her release as a mentor. She states that she enjoys the camaraderie and there is no competition or judgment in the group. The group has become her family. Sarah is thankful that she was able to get into the SAP program. She now visits with her children and she has her high school diploma and she wants to go to Chaffey College. So I'm very hopeful for her future and that of her children. Fonseca is a success story in the making. She does not use drugs. She keeps her children's photos with her, and when she's tempted, she prays and looks at those photos of her children for strength. She has fears about parolee, but is intent on staying clean for the sake of her children. Miss Roller is another inmate. She has a different perspective. She likes using drugs and she has no intentions on quitting even though that she is in the SAP program. The only reason she goes is because she doesn't want to work and she doesn't want to go to school. So she's in this program right now. I'm hopeful that one day soon she will begin to see the error of her way and use this program to her advantage. My interview with inmate Roller was different. She has been honest with me, and I do appreciate that. But my soul was sad. I met with her after a meeting a week after Fonseca's interview. She seemed to be the opposite of Fonseca. I interviewed her, and she told me that she had sniffed 2 lines before she came to SAP. When I asked her why she continues with SAP, if she's going to continue to use drugs, inmate Roller told me it keeps her out of work and out of school. Her drug of choice is methamphetamine. She likes to inject it when she can. She began her journey into the drug life at the age of 15. She ran with a gang and left her home and sank deeper and deeper into her drug use. She was arrested for burglary in order to get drug money. The SAP group is very much like a family. There's mothers, there's sisters, there's aunts, there's nieces and daughters. It's very important for these women to have a sense of family. I find this very intriguing in this group. This is a help group. It's a self-help group which is kind of led by a therapist and a social worker. And mostly the inmates talk amongst themselves. There's no bitterness. There's no harsh words. It's all in understanding and mutual respect. The SAP program is a wonderful program for those wishing to become clean. The group is similar to a family unit. There are mothers, sisters, aunts, and daughters. Everyone helps each other, even the ones who do not want to be clean. The ones that are going along for a free ride, or possibly a social loafer, as written by Forsyth, 2014. Unfortunately, there are some in the group that are there for a free ride. But like I said before, hopefully there will come a time when they will see that they really do need help and it's for their own good. Prayer is what allows some of these women to cope with their life, their past, and their future. They pray for those who are still in addiction, and they pray for their children and families. They pray for forgiveness of those they hurt and for those who've hurt them. These women have very little freedom in their lives, and prior to them being sentenced to prison, they didn't have any freedom either. It's unfortunate that these women are here. It's not for their fault, but they just didn't have any real structure growing up. But prayer is one way that these women can find freedom, they can find hope, and they can have a better day through prayer with the Father. This research has allowed me the opportunity to have access to a substance abuse program in a state prison. This female same sex group allows the women to comfortably open up. These women still must work toward their goals. In the cognitive behavioral therapy model, in order to change their behavior, they have to sort out their thoughts and memories that trigger the need for drug use. They then develop skills to help with changing that behavior and the need for drugs. Thank you.